This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. You're really a pig's brain, not as useful as your son. Xiahou Yuanming angrily retorted. Jian, tell your father about the implications of this. Yes, Grandpa. A young man behind Xiahou Cheng said worriedly, although this jade tablet fell from the sky, it landed in the boneyard, so it should belong to the boneyard. The Land of Bones had always been known as the Tomb of the Almighty, and many good things had been unearthed from it over the years. Anyone who enters must have a permit issued by the Blood God Palace. At the same time, it states that everything obtained must be sold to the Blood God Palace first. This jade tablet was secretly brought out by second uncle. If the Blood God Palace finds out, House Xiahou will be in trouble. The other man, Xiahou Yi, said bitterly, I was just being greedy. I didn't expect it to be a 9th-tier profound armament. If I had known, I would have given it to the Blood God Palace directly. Then, this wouldn't have happened. On what basis? Humph. Xiahou Cheng snorted. The Blood God Palace only grew stronger because of the lucrative job at the boneyard. The boneyard belongs to the entire eastern region. What right does the Blood God Palace have to set rules and regulations? I really don't like the look of it. You pig head. Xiahou Yuanming was furious, how did I give birth to a pig head like you? The Blood God Palace was guarding the burial ground. It was decided by the Red Moon City at the Eastern Region Alliance Conference. If you don't like them, you'll just scold them a little, but if they don't like you, they'll destroy you in minutes. Big brother, Xiahou Yi said, the only thing we can do now is to wait for Lord Sun Renhao of the Myriad Treasures store to buy it in secret. There won't be a second chamber of commerce in Fu City who'll dare to accept this deal. The resources that Myriad Treasures store promised us will be of great help to our future development. As long as we can survive today, the jade tablet will no longer be in our hands. Even if the Blood God Palace finds something, they can't do anything to us without any evidence. I really don't know what you guys are thinking. A perfectly fine 9th-tier profound armament, father, you've been dreaming of having a treasure, but now you actually want to secretly dispose of it. I thought that after father obtained this item, he would go into seclusion to refine it and become the second expert in Fufeng City to own a 9th-tier profound armament and contend against the Zhu family. Xiahou Cheng had always felt that everyone was overthinking and overreacting. Xiahou Yuanming snorted, it's true that I want a 9th-tier profound armament, but I can't use the fate of my family as the price. After dealing with this item, the benefits he would get from the Myriad Treasures store, along with some of the family's savings, would be enough to buy one in the Sea of Soul formation. Cheng. You don't need to attend tonight's banquet, bring some experts with you and guard this place well, we can't let anything happen to this jade tablet. There seemed to be an extremely powerful seal on the jade tablet, and it couldn't be stored in his storage ring, causing Xiahou Yuanming to be extremely vexed. He could only place it in the mansion's treasury and let his most powerful son guard it. Don't worry, father. As long as the person is there, the monument will be there. Xiahou Cheng replied in a deep voice. He wasn't a shrewd man, but he was the second strongest expert in the Xiahou family and was at the peak of the martial honor realm. In the entire Windfall City, the number of people who could defeat him would not exceed the number of fingers on one hand. Well, I'm more at ease with you around. You too, come with me to the banquet. Xiahou Yuanming turned and left with Xiahou Jian and Xiahou Yi. Xiahou Cheng carefully inspected the surroundings of the treasury and placed layer after layer of restrictions. After that, he placed a large number of experts in the surroundings and hid them in various places. He then sat cross-legged in front of the vault and closed his eyes to cultivate. Xiahou Yuanming had just arrived at the front banquet hall when a steward hurriedly ran through the crowd. Xiahou Yuanming frowned. What's the matter? Why are you so flustered? Don't lose your manners in front of the guest. The housekeeper's face was filled with anxiety, and he immediately whispered a few words into Xiahou Yuanming's ear. Xiahou Yuanming's expression suddenly changed, becoming extremely unsightly. Xiahou Yi and Xiahou Jian didn't know what was going on. They hurriedly said, "What's wrong, old man?" Xiahou Yuanming's face was ashen, and he said seriously, "The Myriad Treasure Store just sent a message saying that something happened in the Merchant Union. Lord Sun Renhao has just activated the teleportation formation and is heading to the headquarters of the Myriad Treasures Store." "What? Then what should we do?" "I don't know when he'll be back," Xiahou Yi said in surprise. "The Merchant Union is doing fine. What could have happened that requires him to be called back? Could it be that he suddenly went back on his word and deliberately found an excuse?" Xiahou Yuanming shook his head. "I know Sun Renhao, he's definitely not the kind of person to go back on his word. Moreover, with their 10,000 treasures tower's strength, eating a 9th-tier profound armament was not a difficult thing. Something must have really happened. This was really troublesome. I don't know how long we can keep the jade tablet in our hands." Just as he was worried, he heard a long laugh coming from outside and said mockingly, "Brother Yuanming, you've taken a concubine who's younger than your grandson. Congratulations." Xiahou Yuan's expression changed. A trace of killing intent flashed through his eyes. He forced a smile and went out to welcome them. He said coldly, "So it's brother Huanshui. I heard that you have a son this year, who is 2 years younger than your great-grandson. The two little friends can play together happily." Happy. There was a flash of light outside the door, and 2 Xiahou's guards landed in the courtyard before they could stop him. There were more than 10 of them. Xiahou Yuanming's heart jolted, but his face remained expressionless as he smiled, "So brother Yuming is here too. Please come in, please come in." The two of them were Zhu Huanshui and Zhang Sunweming, the family heads of the other 2 major forces in Fufeng City. They had come together, but their expressions were not so happy, which was very different from the atmosphere around them. "Brother Yuanming, although we're here to drink and congratulate you, our main purpose isn't to drink," Zhang Sunweming said indifferently. "Oh? Could it be that the two of you are here to play chess and drink tea with me? It's a pity that today is my double happy day, so I don't have time to accompany you." Xiahou Yuanming didn't make a sound, but made a gesture of a no welcome, indicating that he was sending the guest off. Zhu Huanshui sneered, "Brother Yuanming, stop pretending. I don't want that 16-year-old sister-in-law to become a widow before we even consummate our marriage." Xiahou Yuanming was enraged, and he roared, "Zhu Huanshui, today is my double happy day, your mouth is too cheap." Zhu Huanshui said sarcastically, "I won't beat around the bush with you. Hand over the 9th-tier mystic weapon you got from the burial land. Then, we'll accompany you to drink a few mouthfuls of wine today. Otherwise, your banquet will really not be able to be held." "Good, so you're joining hands to find trouble." Xiahou Yuanming's aura rose, and the pressure of a martial emperor spread out. The expressions of the surrounding people changed, and they desperately retreated. Zhang Sunleming said coldly, "Brother Yuanming, I'd advise you to be smarter. It's useless to play dumb. If we didn't have concrete evidence, we wouldn't have come here so presumptuously." Xiahou Yuanming's heart skipped a beat, and he coldly said, "All right, I'd like to see your so-called evidence. Hand it over." "Xiahou Jian, come out," Zhu Huanshui sneered. "What?" Everyone trembled, their faces filled with disbelief. Xiahou Yuanming and Xiahou Yi were also dumbstruck as they watched in a daze as Xiahou Jian walked out from the crowd and stood in front of Zhu Huanshui with a smile. "You're the one who called Jian Gege. What's with this Gege?" Xiahou Yuanming was completely dumbfounded. He felt his heart sink. He couldn't understand Xiahou Jian's betrayal at all. "What's going on?" Xiahou Jian sneered. "You have to ask yourself that. Jian, were you threatened by them?" Xiahou Ye's eyes were also filled with disbelief as he hurriedly asked. "Coercion? No one is threatening me. I'm the one who sought them out to cooperate," Xiahou Jian said coldly. "It's all my own will." The Xiahous were all dumbfounded. Xiahou Jian was the family's most valued eldest grandson. His future was limitless, and there was no possibility of him betraying them. "You little bastard!" Xiahou Yi bellowed. "Why? Give second uncle a reason." "Reason?" Xiahou Jian pointed at Xiahou Yuanming and coldly said, the reason is. You've lived too long. You're already 100 years old, yet you're still holding on to the position of clan leader. Besides, you're already a martial supreme now, so you can at least live for another 100 years. 100 years. From what I see, you won't give up your position until you're dead. So when will it be my turn? Xiahou Jian became more and more agitated as he spoke. He seemed to be roaring, besides, my father is already at the peak of the martial honor realm. He'll break through to the martial supreme realm soon. After you die 100 years later, my father will be the clan leader for another 100 years. By then, wouldn't it be 200 years later when it's my turn? Heavens! 200 years, can I live that long? Even if he was lucky enough to break through to the rank of a martial supreme, he would still be a dying man after living for 200 years. What was the point of being the clan leader? Old man, have you ever thought about my feelings? Xiahou Yuanming was completely stunned. He looked at the sneer on Xiahou Jian's face and finally accepted this reality. His heart was cold, but he couldn't be angry. He had to calm down. If this matter were to blow up and the Blood God Palace found out, House Xiahou would be in danger. Well said. Zhu Huanshui laughed, Brother Yuanming, you have such a talented junior. You should have abdicated your position long ago. You took the position of the clan leader all by yourself and completely ignored the feelings of others. You finally tasted the consequences today. Xiahou Yuanming looked at his grandson with a dead heart, and said in a sad voice, even if I die, or Cheng dies, do you think the position of clan head will fall to you? Do you think these two tigers and wolves will help you rise to power? They're too ambitious to wait to devour House Xiahou. Zhu Huanshui laughed and said. Who said so? We admire your young look the most. We will definitely train you well in the future. Now, tell us about the jade tablet. Let this old man deny it. Yes. Xiahou Jian nodded. My second uncle brought the jade tablet from the burial ground. It's now hidden in the Xiahou family's treasury. The old man wanted to hand it over to Sun Renhao of the Myriad Treasures store tonight to take away, but unfortunately, Sun Renhao couldn't come because he had something to do. Good, well said. After Zhu Huanshui laughed out loud, his face gradually turned cold and he said, Brother Yuanming, what else do you have to say? What's so strange about the burial land obtaining a jade tablet? Xiahou Yuanming sneered. There are often treasures appearing there, and it's just an ordinary piece. If you like it, I can make 7 or 8 pieces for you. You can even carve your names on them. Humph, Brother Yuanming, don't try to change the concept. If you continue to be stubborn, then don't blame us for not considering our many years of friendship. Zhu Huanshui said in a cold voice as he exuded a faint aura. He was also a martial emperor. Since when did we have any friendship? Xiahou Yuanming coldly retorted. If you want to fight, then fight. Don't tell me House Xiahou is afraid of you. Alright, since Brother Yuanming insists on seeking death, how can I not fulfill his wish? I will take good care of your wife who is still waiting in the nuptial chamber, Wunyan. Zhu Huanshui's face darkened, and a saber suddenly appeared in his hand. Without saying a word, he slashed at it. Everything in the courtyard was split open as the saber ray passed by. Although the guests were not ordinary people, they had long been scared away by the battle between martial supremes, afraid that they would be implicated. Damn it. If you have the guts, go out and fight. Xiahou Yuanming's hand shook as a sword flew out to meet the attack. As the two weapons collided, blade light and sword chi spread out, directly cutting the entire banquet into pieces. Xiahou Yuanming flew into a rage, directly flying into the air as he angrily said, if you want to fight, then come. Good, today the two of us will experience Brother Yuanming's brilliant moves. Brother Yuanming, let's go together. Zhu Huanshui wasn't afraid of being criticized and immediately called for help. The two of them chased after Xiahou Yuanming and disappeared into the horizon in the blink of an eye. If a martial emperor fought without restraint, half of Windfall City would probably be done for, let alone the Xiahous. This was an outcome that no one wanted to see. As the three martial sovereigns soared into the sky and left, Xiahou Yi suddenly said angrily, "Xiahou Jian, you bastard. I'll send you to hell right now." He suddenly smacked his palm over. Xiahou Jian's expression changed. He immediately dodged backward and called out for help to the remaining members of the Zhu clan and his eldest grandson. The dozen or so people looked at him coldly, revealing an incomparably mocking expression. This kind of person who could even betray his own family, even if he was an enemy, would not be looked down upon. The patriarch said that we shouldn't get involved if House Sayahuz has internal strife or is trying to clean up the house, one of them said loudly. Xiahou Jian's expression changed slightly, and he suddenly revealed a sneer. He said coldly, "You two families are really unreliable. Fortunately, I didn't rely on your trashy families." When everyone heard this, they all frowned slightly, revealing puzzled expressions. Xiahou Jian suddenly took out a token and shouted, "I'm now a member of the Blood God Palace. Who dares to touch me?" "What? The Blood God token?" Xiahou Yi was stunned. Even the members of the Zhu and Yi families were completely dumbfounded. The Blood God Palace was extremely powerful in their territory. They did not dare to provoke them. Xiahou Jian laughed wildly and said coldly, "Second uncle, didn't you want to kill me? Come on. Killing me is the same as killing a disciple of the Blood God Palace. Does the Zayahuz not want to exist anymore?" He walked forward smugly, bypassing the dumbfounded Xiahou Yi, and kicked the man who had said he wouldn't interfere in the Zayahuz affairs. "Idiot, weren't you very arrogant?" Arrogant, I'll let you be arrogant." After a series of punches and kicks, the man was beaten half to death. The other party didn't dare to fight back. The rest of the people also looked on in a daze, not knowing if they had forgotten to help or if they didn't dare to. "Bah. And you're still acting tough in front of me. Do you really think I can trust your Zhu clan and Jiangsun clan?" Xiahou Jian grinned hideously. "I've only asked you to be the vanguard. After all, it's more troublesome to deal with a martial emperor. I'm temporarily commandeering your two families, so listen to my commands." "On what basis?" Finally, someone was unconvinced and glared at him. Killing intent shot out from Xiahou Jian's eyes. A cold light flashed in his hand, and a sword appeared, slashing out. The ancient martial art practitioner snorted coldly, expressing his disdain for Xiahou Jian's cultivation. With a casual grab, the sword light was completely annihilated. However, that was all. After knowing the other party's identity as a member of the Blood God Palace, these people were indeed fearful and did not dare to make a move. "Good, how dare you touch me? Kill that person for me. Die." Xiahou Jian suddenly bellowed. It was unknown who he was giving the order to. The air suddenly trembled, and several flashes of blood could be seen. The martial artist from earlier let out a blood-curdling screech as his body was sent flying. When he landed again, all of his blood had been sucked dry, and he had become a dried corpse. This immediately shocked everyone. Even Xiahou Jian himself was shocked. When he saw that there were suddenly two people in front of him, dressed in black and with a cruel and hideous smile on their faces, he composed himself and hurriedly stepped forward. "Thank you for your trouble, my lords. The higher-ups sent us to help you retrieve that 9th-tier profound armament. Everything is in your hands, so there's no need to be so polite." The black-clothed man on the left sneered. Xiahou Jian immediately felt a surge of confidence. He laughed and raised his head. He swept his gaze across the people of the Zhu and Jiangsun clans and grinned hideously. "I just said that I'm temporarily conscripted. Do you have any objections?" Everyone gnashed their teeth in hatred. However, when they saw the two powerhouses from the Blood God Palace, they felt a chill in their hearts and shivered. No one dared to stand out. Xiahou Yi only felt that the matter was becoming more and more serious. Taking away the treasures from the burial ground was a great taboo of the Death God Palace. He would definitely die. If it was only the Zhu clan and the Jiangsun clan who came to fight for it, there would still be room for negotiation. They could more or less find some common interests. Now that the Blood God Palace had intervened, there was no room for negotiation. At the thought of this, Xiahou Yi couldn't help but cry out, Xiahou Jian, your father is the one guarding the treasury. Are you gathering these people to kill your father? Xiahou Jian's expression changed slightly as he coldly said, I can't say that. It's just that my father has always been a blockhead. He doesn't know how to keep up with the times and can't distinguish the situation. If second uncle can come with me to persuade my father to open the door of the vault and hand over the 9th tier profound armament to the Blood God Palace, it will be a great merit. This is a great achievement. Xiahou Yi laughed so hard that he cried. I took the jade tablet out on my own. It has nothing to do with House Xiahou. I can give you the jade tablet, but you're not allowed to cause any trouble in House Xiahou. If you have to kill someone, just kill me. Xiahou Jian smiled and said, Second uncle, you're overthinking things. We only want the jade tablet. I'm also from House Xiahou's. Why would I do anything to them? I'll have to trouble you to persuade my father. Xiahou Yi revealed a mournful expression. He looked at him and said, It's our honor to have a talent like you. Second uncle, you don't have to mock me. You'll know in the future. Xiahou Jian's eyes lit up as he said, I'll definitely make a name for myself in the Blood God Palace. I'll make all of you see me in a new light. The position of House Xiahou's patriarch is far from my end. Xiahou Yi didn't say anything else. He walked in front of them in silence. Xiahou Jian and the other 2 members of the Blood God Palace, as well as the martialists from the other 2 forces, all followed. After passing through a few corridors, the group finally saw the treasury in the distance. Xiahou Cheng's tiger-like eyes snapped open. He immediately sensed the group's auras and grew alert. Second brother, who are these people? Why did you bring them here? Big brother, Xiahou Yi said pathetically. Ask your good son, my good nephew, the good man of House Xiahou. Xiahou Cheng's face darkened as he looked at Xiahou Jian. Jian, what's going on? Xiahou Jian had a guilty conscience, so he immediately lowered his head and even turned it away. Father, I'm doing this for the good of House Xiahou. That level 9 mystic artifact came from the burial place and should belong to the Blood God Palace. Father, quickly open the treasury and let that mystic artifact return to its original owner. We can't let a profound level weapon hurt the relationship between us and the Blood God Palace. What? Xiahou Cheng's eyes widened in disbelief as he glared at his son. That's why you brought the people from the Blood God Palace? He had noticed the presence of the 2 experts from the Blood God Palace long ago. The demonic aura made him feel uncomfortable. After hearing Xiahou Jian's words, he immediately guessed that they were from the Blood God Palace. Your good son is now a disciple of the Blood God Palace, Xiahou Yi said bitterly. He's even said that he's going to make a name for himself. You coward. You animal. Xiahou Cheng was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were about to pop out of their sockets as he rose into the air. He waved his palms with the power to topple mountains and overturn seas, bursting through the layers of air as he slapped toward Xiahou Jian. How dare you attack a disciple of the Blood God Palace? You're courting death. The 2 men from the Blood God Palace were also 9-star martial supremacies. In an instant, they attacked one after another. 2 rays of bloodlight shot out and merged with Xiahou Jian, forming a blood palm that pushed forward. Bang! The 2 enormous forces collided, and the bloody palm was blown to pieces. The 2 men from the Blood God Palace shuddered. Xiahou Cheng was extremely powerful. He was probably a tough bone to chew. Xiahou Jian suffered internal injuries from the aftershock of the 2 palm strikes. He retreated continuously and said in shock and anger, Father, you actually want to kill me? He didn't leave any room for mercy? Xiahou Cheng's pained expression was quickly replaced by determination. He said coldly, I have to personally kill my own family for the sake of justice for a disdainful descendant like you. Good, good, so you're this heartless. Xiahou Jian commanded the members of the Zhu clan and Jiangsun clan repeatedly. He furiously said, "All of you, go. I'll kill whoever doesn't."